Hey guys, it's Connor here, and we're back with another weekly reset. The first thing we'll do this week is go ahead and check out our vault with everybody else in the entire universe today, of course located here in Donegal. If you did a Mythic 10 last week, you have a guaranteed Mythic item inside your vault this week. My options are between a 707 wrist as well as a 707 trinket. This is a little unfortunate because I don't want the trinket and I'm already going to do a crafted wrist this week, but I'll take the wrist anyway. We've got some weekly quests that we can do in Donegal. Mainly the most important one is for the renown at this guy, Beergoth, that we've been doing every single week, because when you finish the dungeon he tells you to do, in this week it's the Priory of the Sacred Flame, you can go ahead and get 1,500 Koreshi Trust Renown. As always, it's quick to just go ahead and go into follower dungeons, or you can just do it another way if you want. I just do a follower dungeon and finish it in a couple of minutes. Guys, I'm soloing it so hard that the tank rage quit in follower dungeon mode. He left, dude, he's gone. Literally just a couple of minutes later, we're done with the follower dungeon mode in absolutely solo, and we can go ahead and select the Koreshi Trust Renown and get that onto our, reputation bar, pushing our renown to 17. This is the first week in a new month. It is September. That means it's time for your Trader's Tender. In Donegal, you can go to this location at the trading post, and you can interact with the collector's cache to collect some Trader's Tender. This also means that your adventure guide, if we go ahead and we look at our traveler's log, you can see here we can start gaining points and progress by doing the various activities in the world, which you'll just do by playing the game, until you can eventually get to the end of the bar where you will unlock this mount. That looks like this, and actually I think this looks really clean. That is such a nice looking griffin though. And of course you can also interact with the NPC and see what they have on offer this month to go ahead and purchase a bunch of new stuff. I typically always buy the mounts. Now this week there's also a quest over here that you can pick up for defeating 5 time walking raid bosses or dungeons, because time walking is active yet again. This is going to be for the Cataclysm expansion, which means we're going to be time walking Cataclysm dungeons as well as the Firelands raid. If you're Alliance, you're going to want to head to Stormwind at this location over here at the top right by the summoning portals over here for the Cataclysm zones. You'll find Vormu over here with a quest that is going to give you a heroic item for defeating the final boss Ragnaros in the Firelands raid. So accept this quest. If you play a Horde character, you're going to go to Orgrimmar at this location right over here. You'll find the same quest giver for the same quest. After you've accepted this quest, you're going to open up your group finder. You're going to go to pre-made groups. You're going to go to Raids Legacy, find group, and you should find a bunch of Ragnaros, ones here. You can actually find a skip that does just Ragnaros if you just want to defeat the final boss for the heroic item. If you're looking for champion gear, however, you can still do the entire raid, and you'll notice that you will get champion gear from each of the bosses, well, hopefully if it drops for you. So this is a nice, easy way to gear some alts if you want some champion gear. When your group leader is ready, they'll queue for the raid over at the NPC. You don't actually have to be here, only the leader, and then you'll just ready check and it will enter the Firelands. I joined a skip run, so all we gotta do is take this portal and we're gonna go straight to the final boss, which is nice because I don't need champion gear. And you can make your way back to the quest giver and hand in the quest to get your heroic cash items. So we can complete this. And if we open this, we should get a heroic item. We got boots, which is useless for me, but hopefully it's good for you. So good luck. I hope you got something nice. Another tip before we go is to check out the time walking vendor over here. In case you didn't know, every time there's time walking, there's always mounts available that you can buy with your time warped badges. You can see the mount available here for Cataclysm is the Broodling of Sinestra, which is this one over here. You'll also be able to get the Timely Busby mount over here in case you didn't have this one already, and as well as this Sandy Shale Wing, which is this one over here. Because time walking is active, it is a perfect time to go ahead and level up an alt to level 80. In case you weren't aware, leveling through time walking dungeons is one of the best, if not the actual best way to level up your characters very quickly, because not only do you get a ton of XP, these tend to go a whole lot quicker and the queues for them are quite quick. So if you plan on playing some other characters, this is a great time to level them up. This week, you're also able to craft your third crafted piece of gear, your third 720 eye level item. This is because you should have 2 fractured sparks of starlight that you can go ahead and turn into a spark of starlight, which allows you to craft the item. Now to get the 720 eye level item, you're going to have to make your way to this location over here in Donegal, and you'll speak with this NPC Cyanite. And you'll use 60 of your ethereal gilded crests to buy this item over here that allows you to craft an item to 720 eye level. Once you're ready, you can go to the crafting order NPC next to it and pick what you want to have crafted. This week, I was actually going to go for wrist, but since I got a mythic wrist in my vault, I was kind of forced to go with this one. So instead, I'm actually going to craft a mythic 720 eye level neck. We're going to buy all of the materials in the highest quality. We're going to add our spark, the one that is called Spark of Starlight. Then we're going to go ahead and add our missive over here so that we guarantee the stats that we want. I want haste and mastery. You can buy these in the auction house for whichever stats you want. Buy them in the highest quality so you can guarantee the craft at a high quality. We're going to infuse this with that enchanted gilded ethereal crest to push it up to 720 eye level. And I'm going to make this a guild order with minimum quality at maximum. Send a nice little thank you message. I know my friend Marker on the guild is going to be making it for me as he makes all my stuff. And then before you complete, make sure you look at the item in the top left here. It says item level 720. This is what you're going to be getting from the craft, like this. So there it is right there. That's the one I'm going to be making. And I'm going to place my order for it right now. And with that, we have a 720 neck, which is a 30 eye level upgrade from my champion piece. Very nice. I hope you guys managed to get a cool craft for yourselves as well. We're then going to go ahead and make our way to Koresh. And then within Tazavesh over here, we're going to pick up the weekly Warrant quest over here. This week, for me, it's Hollowbane. This is going to be on the little like wagon over here. We'll pick this up. This is one of 6 possible quests that you can get. The 6th one next week is going to give us the mount, if you've been keeping up. You'll also be able to pick up the quest here from Constable Zawardez for the More Than Just a Phase, which we'll talk about after. Let's first go ahead and complete this Warrant quest. Eventually, you'll complete the quest that it gives you, and you'll end up getting a portal key that you can sell on the auction house, or you can just go ahead and use right now. This will give you a quest, as well as a key item to unlock the rare to make it spawn. And then you just have to use the item or the contraption near where the quest leads you to. And this will go ahead and summon the rare for you to go ahead and beat. Once you defeat it, your quest progress will be updated. You can then go ahead and hand in this week's quest for the Hollowbane. This will get you 400 reputation with the Koresh Trust and will count for progress for your Terror of the Night mount, which we're going to get next week, because if you've been keeping up with it, you should have killed 5 of the Warrant quests, and next week we'll get the 6th and final one, which will unlock this mount right here. So I'm pretty excited for that because I actually kind of like this one. This one looks cool. As usual, with a new week, we have the World Boss Reshinor that will be available that we can go ahead and do in Koresh. And as always, the World Boss will drop a guaranteed 688 eye level piece of gear that is going to be for your warband and might not be the same material as your cloth. So you can get cloth as a leather wearer. I'm only doing this weekly to grab gear for ults. Next, we're going to talk about the More Than Just a Phase quest. This is the one where you have to do activities within phase diving and gain percentage by doing so. This is actually quite simple. Essentially, around Koresh, you're going to look for world quests that require you to enter phase diving and do these world quests. While you're in phase diving, you can also keep an eye out for these phase lost exchequer treasure items on your map, because these will award you 6% to your phase diving quest. This is what the chests look like, and they respawn frequently and over, so pick them up if you need progress for the quest. Eventually, you'll do enough activities as well as these world quests until you complete the quest progress bar and complete the quest. And then you can hand in this quest and you'll get some untethered coins, which at the same NPC you can use the shop to buy various transmog and the 2 mounts in case you didn't already buy those. But the main reason you're still going to be doing this quest, even if you already have those items and you don't want more, is for the 500 renown you gain for the Koreshi Trust. This is also the final week, if you have been keeping up with it, with the events for the Devourer Swarms, right? So these events occur at the Oasis, the Ecodome Primus, as well as the lower section, as well as around the Tazavesh wall over here. I recommend getting an add-on called Rare Scanner that will announce when this is active. It will say event and then the name of the rare that you're trying to fight. And then you'll get a bar at the top of your screen in that area to defend the Oasis by killing the enemies around you. Once you kill enough enemies, the bar will be filled and the rare will be spawned. You only have to kill or at least tag the rare that spawns to get the progress. You should also know that you can only do each one once per week, and you have to do all 4 of them to collect the special item drop at the, the rare's body. Eventually the rare will spawn and you will go ahead and zerg it. And then we'll loot the body for a variety of things. There's going to be a quest, which is going to be helpful for our next event. But more importantly, you're going to get 1 devoured energy pod. You get 1 for defeating each of the 4 rares per week, which means you can only get 4 per week. And this week, if we do all of them, we should get to the total of 20. Once you have 20, you can combine them to get a mount. And finally, after killing the final devourer this week, I can get the final devoured energy pod. So if you look at my bags here, I have 20 of them, and when I go ahead and I use this item, I actually have no idea what happens. I just get the mount item. you just get the mount item. That's it. I was hoping it would like spawn something I would have to fight. That would have been cooler. But this is how you can get the translocated gorger. And here's what the mount looks like in person. It's actually pretty cool. I like it. I'm happy with it. I'm so glad that I don't have to farm these events anymore. I hope you guys are able to get it this week as well. Our next activity is the weekly Ecological Succession, one of the most boring weeklies you can ever do. So this is located over here at the Oasis. Luckily, if you have been doing those Devourer quests, you should have quests that hand in over here. Now this is all to get a Wriggling Pinnacle cache. If you've done any of those Devourer events, you can go ahead and hand in those quests and they will actually count as 20% progress for you, which is fantastic. That gives me a head start of 40%. To get the rest, you will just have to pick up a variety of quests in the area. There's going to be a ton of them, and the campaign continues quite a lot here. There's a bunch of like achievements involved and stuff, so if you want to do that, you can. I only really recommend picking up the ones that give you reputation, like this A Real problem over here gives you 300 Koreshi trust. I would recommend doing those. There should be at least 3 of them that I've just picked up right now. Once you've done the quest, you can go ahead and hand them in, collect your Koreshi trust. This will also give you percentage for, well, you know, your weekly Ecological Succession quest, which I have just completed and reached Renown 18. Fantastic. This will give you the Wriggling Pinnacle cache that has a chance to have a mount in it. Do I get the mount? I don't get the mount. This is what the mount looks like that you can get in there. It's a RNG chance. I hope you guys manage to get it yourselves because, man, I am struggling. Wish me luck next week. In terms of gearing up, you're going to want to do your bountiful delves, at least 3 tier 11 delves. Hopefully you can get your bounty map soon. So if we make our way to a bountiful delve, set it to tier 11. Ideally, this is the one you want to push. If you're not able to do tier 11, at least do tier 8s. This will guarantee a heroic item in your vault next week. Tier 11s are going to give you gilded crests only 3 times per week, and they give you 7 gilded crests per each. And if you go ahead and you collect a Delver's Bounty, which you can only get once per week, and you use this and complete a tier 11 delve, you'll get another 10 gilded crests as well as a heroic item from this, which will be 694 eye level. The first delve that you complete in the week will give you a archaic cipher key. This is going to be hand-inable at Dornagal at this location where the quest hands in. This is going to give you a bunch of Delver's Journey progress. Make sure you at least do 1 delve per week, even if you're not using delves to gear. Talk about Mythic Plus, you're going to want to try at least push for your Mythic 10 keys, because doing a 10 key will at least guarantee you a Mythic item in your vault every week. And that, of course, is how I've been getting my Mythic items. I already have my wrist, I have my chest plate, and I have my fist weapon all in Mythic already. This is how you're going to gear to the end game if you don't do Mythic raiding. Of course, this does limit you to only 1 Mythic item per week, and it's randomized from your vault. If you don't play on such a high level, you can try focus on at least doing 6s, because 6s will guarantee that you get a heroic item in your vault at the end, and if you do 7s, you can get gilded crests so that you can upgrade those heroic items further if you're not getting Mythic items. In terms of raiding, there's no news. My guild in particular is just doing heroic, and we're on the 2nd last boss. Hopefully we manage to beat it this week and make our way towards the ahead of the curve achievement. Let me know what your progress is in the comments down below. In terms of PvP, you're going to make your way to the foregrounds over here to pick up the PvP weekly quests. There are the 3 weekly PvP quests. The first one is gaining honor in skirmishes, which will also award you 100 renown for your Koreshi trust. There's also preserving in just normal arenas, but you have to be in a party while doing so. Gaining honor in rated arenas also gives you 100 Koreshi trust if you're pushing it. And then finally, we have our Sparks of the War quest, which is going to be in the Isle of Dorn. Collect 100 Sparks of War. A nice easy way to do this, I'll show you right now, is if we go ahead and we go into War mode. We just go ahead and click this button on our talent screen. We're in War mode. And now we're just going to go ahead and fly around, and you're going to look for very specific things on the floor. You can either find treasures out in the world that will give you sparks. You can kill rare NPCs because rare NPCs will also drop sparks. They typically drop 8, which is nice. You're also able to find these disturbed earth locations around. When you're flying around, you can pick these up. These will also give you 5 sparks of war each time you complete them. Sometimes you can actually get a little bit more, but it's usually rare. You often just get 5. And you can fly around and pick these up and do this to, until you collect 100 sparks of war. In my previous video, I talked about doing ranked PvP to get to 1,800 rating so that I can unlock the Transmog set. The Elite one, as you can see over here, this is the War Within Season 3 set. This is what it looks like for monks. I think it looks really cool. And an update on my progress is that I am just shy of 1,800. Hopefully next week I have it. I managed to get to 1,787, and then I just had a bad streak of like 2 losses, and it brought me down to 1,731 rating. If you've been going for this Elite Transmog set as well, I hope your run has been a lot smoother than mine has. And that concludes this video. I hope you guys found this video and this information helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week.